All right, we are here.
Welcome to In Your City Show, the hottest happy hour in STL. Grab your mocktails, your cocktails, your favorite beverage, and join us for this next hour. Today is all about soul strings. So we've got a musical guest that we're going to be talking to. EJ Glaser is going to be coming in. Soul strings is something that is in Gordon's heart, to being a musician and a singer and being in that world since he's been a young child. He really enjoyed the idea of bringing musicians and people involved. Like we had Greg Haglin on, who he was someone who puts on concerts and meets all the great musicians and that.
Doesn't get much bigger than a Super Bowl halftime show.
No kidding, right? Can you imagine putting, oh my gosh, putting something like that on?
Stress level and everything like we talked about.
Beyond imagine. But yeah, and so that's what it's about, is bringing music to you. And we're going to have many different guests that'll come on the show. EJ is tuning his guitar, I'm pretty sure. And actually he's tuning the guitar that we keep in here, which probably isn't the greatest. I'm sure he'd like to have his own with him. But he is hopefully going to strum a few strings that while he's playing. And then we're going to talk to Alyssa Houska today. She's from Streets of St. Charles.
Great place to hang out.
Oh my gosh, it's such a fun place. It's really a place that if you want to go have coffee, if you want to have dinner, if you want to meet for lunch, there's boutiques, which I love. There's a few things that I've bought in that store. And I think I bought my whole honeymoon ensemble there.
That's right, you did.
Their prices are great. I mean, they have great prices, and you can buy quite a bit without, feeling like you broke the bank, being able to go shopping. But then you can live there. We even thought about downsizing and going small and maybe, getting a smaller place to live, and because it's kind of like living in like a resort community.
Kids come over, there's your tents. Go pitch them. That's where you're living. That's where you're sleeping tonight.
That's not true. But yeah, so we're going to find out more about that as well. Our question of the day: if your life had a theme song today, what would it be?
What would yours be, Kel? Because I'm still thinking about it.
It's funny. I sit here and do these questions, but I never take the time to really soul search myself and see what the answer. I'm always interested in what other people might say. Let's see.
We're talking about downsizing, but I was thinking maybe the Jeffersons. Well, we're moving on up to the east side.
There you go. Actually, we're way west. You just have to change the words, whatever.
Moving up, though. Moving on up. Yeah,
that'd be a good song.
That'd be a good
I'll let that be yours. That's your theme song. I don't know what my song would be. Lovely Day.
Lovely day, lovely day.
I love that word.
It's a great song.
And I love that song. And if you could just think that every day is a lovely day, I think it could be a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with that one because I had to really think of something on the fly.
There's some days that I think there's some days that I think it would be, what was I thinking?
that would be, yesterday would be On a Pontoon. What's the name? What's the Little Big Town? Yeah, that would have been our theme song yesterday for the day. So yeah, what would your theme song be? I mean, that's how a lot of writers and people who do music is they actually they write songs about their life. So right. I guess, if we could write a song about our life, then so we'd have to write our own song. Maybe we wouldn't take another song. You'd need to come up with another title.
Well, maybe we can get our next guest that's coming on today, our guest.
Have him write a song today,
write a song for us while we're sitting here.
That sounds like a good idea. Well, so in case you feel like road tripping, I think I had kind of an idea.
I love to go road tripping. I always wanted to do the whole Route 66, from the beginning to the end, just all the way out to California. And I love I love the West, that. And it's just something magical about the West.
We took the longest road trip of my life when we decided to drive to Arizona. And his SUV broke down. We ended up.
It was a National Lampoon vacation trip.
It was worse than that. We ended up in this gas station way off the beaten path in the middle of nowhere. And
well, first of all, we had to go because a friend of mine passed away, so that wasn't good.
Yeah, and his bright idea was he loves to drive, and so we would drive there and take in the scenery and just really
the giant ball of yarn.
If there was anything that was stupid along the way, we had to stop at it, of course. And one of the let's see, one of the stops was this hole in the ground.
Oh my God!
The hole in the ground, and the winds are so strong that the electricity wasn't working, and I had to use the restroom. Needless to say, we were together.
Dating a couple months.
It wasn't a long time, so we thought we'd get to know each other more on this trip too. Somehow or another, we're still together, so it must have worked out well. So I'm having to use the restroom.
in the dark while I hold the light off my phone.
Well, I told him to not look because I'd have, what is that,
Then she
stage
couldn't
fright.
go because I would
he's in
hear it.
there. So it was quite the experience. So his SUV breaks down completely. We're in the middle of nowhere at this gas station. This stranger that owns the gas station ends up letting us borrow his car because it was going to take a few days for him to be able to get his car fixed. We drive it. It was this big, like a boat car, like one of those real older, huge cars. What was it? Do you remember?
Well, let's say this too.
This,
they were Mideastern, and this was during the time that there was tension was high between the Middle East and the United States, and they were the most kindest people. Well, but they were the kindest. I mean, it was right after, you know.
It's incredible. He did not know us and let us, a stranger, take his car and drive it so he could make his friend's funeral.
Yeah.
And we had quite a bit of distance still to go.
Right.
So we're driving this unknown car. You name it, it happened. I brought my favorite pillow, left that in the hotel. 25 miles later, I went, oh my God. I don't know if any of you have like a favorite thing that you've had like for years that is like
was like her stuffed animal.
It was like a pacifier. And I left it. So another thing Gordon had to find out about me is he ended up turning around and driving back to go get it. They wouldn't let us in the room to get the pillow. And so Gordon sneaks in the hotel.
Sneak in the hotel room, and there it is. So I'm like, okay.
He tried to act like it wasn't there. They weren't as nice as people.
No.
But anyway, we did make it there. We did take the guy's car back.
And we had to drive my broken down car from Arizona all the way back to St. Louis.
We made it.
And the temperature, it was.
We don't have that car anymore.
No.
That car went bye-bye. Amongst many of Gordon's cars.
I'm rough on cars.
I thought, poor Gordon, his car's breaking down. No, Gordon breaks down his cars.
I get the extended warranties all the time with my car.
Yes, he needs them.
It's
and he uses them.
worthwhile.
We just had to have a whole brand new engine put into his truck, and his truck is not that old at all. But now it has a brand new engine because you blow up engines.
Okay, let's get back to
road
tripping.
So don't drive with Gordon if you want to go out of town because you'll end up, you never know where. So if you want to go road tripping, we love boating. We're out on the river. We love being out on the river. And we always are passing Pere Marquette. And we're talking about it. Like you remember as a kid, we had the Greater St. Louis Scouting, Tracy Bono and Pere Marquette is a fabulous place to go. If you want a very easy road trip, go with the family or maybe out on a date, or maybe just want to do something alone and get away from the
I heard they have amazing fried chicken there too at Pere Marquette.
I heard that too.
What was it? Blues Brothers, best damn fried chicken in the state.
Well, it is. It's an hour drive from St. Louis, of course, even closer if you happen to live in the Illinois area. It's 8,000 acres of rolling hills, towering bluffs, river views, both Mississippi and the Illinois. You know, you can only imagine the panoramic views. But named after the father, Jacques Marquette, 17th century French Jesuit missionary. He journeyed through Mississippi River and in 1673 with Louis Joliet. So here you go. Then you've got the park being developed in the 1930s. The park was developed. I mean, it's really incredible for hiking. There's over 12 miles. You got the Great River Road, the Scenic Drive, horseback riding. They still have that. And of course, biking, eagle watching, which a lot of people do that. That's later in the December, February time. Fishing, boating, of course, and camping. Did you do that? Boy Scouts, did you camp there? A lot of kids had their first camping.
I don't think we camped there. We camped a few places, but it wasn't there.
Yeah. So, I mean, super cool. So if you're really just looking for something that's less, inexpensive, do something fun. That's our road tripping for the day there. Yes. So I think it's time to introduce our guest. We're excited to have him. We actually, we're where the radio station is. We're literally right next door to Pasta House. And who knew our first night, I think our second night, we're doing our show and we're like, does someone have the radio on out in the lobby? Like, is there music? Like, we can hear music playing in our studio. And then, of course, when we go outside, there's actual live music on the patio. And they do it several nights a week.
Yes.
And we heard about this individual and how great he is. And we're like, oh, my gosh, let's have him on. So, of course, we have EJ Glaser with us today. And we're going to introduce you to him right now, talk about his music career and all that is involved with it. But we're going to make sure you have a microphone on so that we can hear you. That'll help a lot.
Thanks. That's what I'm wrong the first time.
There you go. Let's clip it right in there. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning the guitar out there. We keep this. We need to actually. Gordon doesn't want to bring his good guitar in here, but I guess we're going to have to get a good one so that we have one ready to
We
go.
have two at home. Any one of the two at home would be better than
Better
It's
than
not
that
too bad. I just tuned it up, but it needs
Gave it a little love.
just a truss rod adjustment. I could do it for you with the Allen wrench, and needs new strings, of course.
Oh, there you go.
I probably haven't changed the strings in a couple of years.
You know what? So Kelly found the
It's been
guitar in
in
our
the
basement.
basement
I
for
don't
who
even know
knows how many years. So it's got to be longer than a couple years that hasn't had any strings on it. So we're going to make sure and take care of that and bring it back here and have it all refreshed. So welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us and that. And you, how often do you play next door?
I play there on Wednesdays. I did play there on Wednesdays, but it's been so hot lately that they said, we're done with having music because it's just too hot. Nobody wants to sit outside.
Oh, why don't they have it inside? Is the acoustics not well, or
they did it kind of as an experiment last year to see if they could draw a crowd in there, and I've had really good crowds in there, and for some reason they have a new manager that just I don't know.
They mess up everything. Those new managers, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. He never even came out. All the times I played there, never even stepped outside. It's like, wouldn't you wonder what's going on when you're a manager? So I don't want to talk about
I'll have to tell you, I was the one out there cleaning chairs and cleaning the windows and cleaning things around when we started, because I'm like a neat freak and can't stand anything a mess. I'm thinking, don't they want to clean up their patio and that? But so it's me if it looks a little shinier. I'm the one who did that.
They said they're going to, it's been so hot. They said as the summer progresses, and things cool down. It's like, it's not going to cool down.
Yeah. Summer, right? That's the way it is.
And we did it all last year, and it was hotter than Hades, and we did great.
And it worked out fine.
But anyway.
So EJ is for Edward, correct?
Right.
And then EJ is what you go by and have been going by for a while then?
Yeah, my dad's name was Edward John, and my name is that. So
you're a junior.
His dad, I'm the third. So he was called Junior. He hated it, so he called me EJ. So it's been that way since I was born.
Now, is music in your family? Is this something that was brought down?
Not really. My daughter is Nikki Glaser.
Sure.
I'm sure you're aware of that. And so that, that I guess performances may be in our family, but I'm the only one that my siblings that ever wanted to play guitar. And I played music for a living in my 20s.
Tell us a little bit about your journey
Yeah. So
picked up that first guitar.
I started playing guitar when I was, the Beatles came out, and of course every kid wanted to play guitar. And so I took lessons, and I wanted to be a rock and roller, of course, but I took lessons from some 60-year-old woman that smoked cigarettes, and I was like,
So what songs was she teaching you?
Oh, I took the.
What were you learning? What was your first songs you were learning?
I took the Mel Bay method. Did you?
I remember those. The Mel Bay method.
So
books, yeah.
So when I was 12 years old, I took the Mel Bay method. I lived in Cincinnati. That's where I grew up, and I took a bus downtown, and I would, it's an arduous journey to try to learn to play guitar. But when I moved to St. Louis, I went to Nikki wanted to play saxophone when she was in 4th grade. And so I wanted to rent a saxophone. So I went to the Mel Bay music store in Kirkwood. There was a Mel Bay music store. And I just assumed, I assumed it was a franchise deal. Mel Bay is a pretty famous name. So this older guy's waiting on me. And I was looking at him, and I literally a poster on the wall. And I
putting 2 and 2 together.
I said, "Sir, are you Mel Bay?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm Mel Bay." I'm like, "Oh my God, I took your method." And he said, God, he sold 6 million books.
It's like beating Les Paul.
Well, I can tell you a story about that too.
Oh, good.
But so I said, I took your method. And he said, "Well, I've sold 6 million books." He said, "Pilots that have layovers from Russia take taxis down here to meet him." He sold his books in Russia, all over the world. And so he said, "Well, come in the back room." So he handed me his guitar. He has the most famous guitar. It's legendary, a D'Angelico New Yorker, the Mel Bay model, it's called. And it's a big old archtop guitar. So he handed me the guitar and said, "Play something for me." So I played him the fanciest thing I know how to play. And he said, "You're a player." So Mel Bay called me a player. So my life is pretty much done.
Pretty complete. Yeah. No kidding.
Well, so what was Les Paul, you said?
Well, so I played guitar for a living in my 20s. And it was a good living, but I never had the confidence to think that I was going to be enough to raise a family and have a good life. I just didn't have the confidence to move to Nashville and try to make it. And I'm not a songwriter. I've written a few little things here and there, but I got a pretty good voice. But anyway, so I decided, I got to get a real job. So So I got a job in cable television, and that's why I came to St. Louis. I was vice president of marketing for Charter Communications.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I came here with CENTCOM, and then it became Crown Cable, and then it became Charter. And so I was here from 1990 through 2004 in the cable business, and then I had other cable gigs after that. But anyway, so I was in New York for a conference in cable, and I knew that Mel Bay played at this bar called the Iridium every Monday night, and he was 87 years old. He was still performing. So
wow.
all these people from the cable industry, I'm like, Mel Bay's playing, we got to go. You know, everybody's like, well, we have to wake up early in the morning. We can't go. I'm like, well, I'm going. So I went by myself. There's a little club, and there were probably 40 people in this little jazz club. And this famous guitar player named Frank Vignola was playing with him, and they just dazzled me. And Mel Bay was 87, and he was just as vibrant and as great as you would, just like a young man. But he said, hey, if you want to hang around afterwards, I'll be happy to meet you and sign autographs. And this was like, 12 o'clock at night. And I'm like, God, I got to wake up at 6:30 tomorrow. But so I stood in line and waited, and I got up to meet him. And he said, where are you from? And I said, from St. Louis. And he said, I used to play at KMOX Radio on Lindell Boulevard in 1927. He said, he used to call me Rhubarb Red. And so he signed me an autograph, said to EJ, AKA Rhubarb Red, Les Paul. And, so I have it sitting in my office right now.
You do.
But so I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame shortly thereafter. I was in Cleveland on some business thing too. And I went to because Mel Bay invented the solid body electric guitar. I mean, he is in the American Inventors Hall of Fame, and an impeccable guitar player too. But they had a big display about Mel Bay, and they have a photograph of him as Rhubarb Red at KMOX, and he's wearing this little goofy hat, and he had red hair growing up. And so he played at the Iridium every night until he was 92 years old, every Monday night.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
And now, I'm 70 years old, so I'm starting to deal with, because I remember Mel talking about it. He said, I've got arthritis and I've had to learn how to play chords differently. And so I'm already getting there where I have to do little different fingerings for things, because the fingers just don't go as well.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing goes right as we're aging.
That's like Peter Frampton, what he's going through with his health issues too, and trying to play. And it's as you get older, and it's like, I always felt sorry. I was a singer, right? I mean, I can play instruments, but I'm a jack of all and ace of none. But I was always a singer, right? So I always felt sorry. You'd play some outdoor gigs where it was cold outside. I was like, how do your fingers move? Because
I've played some gigs outside where it's too cold to move. Django Reinhardt, the most famous guitar player that ever lived, is a gypsy jazz player. And he was, when he was a little kid, he was 9 years old, his gypsy caravan, like they had a fire, and he lost the use of these two fingers. They were just like gnarled. And if you listen to Django Reinhardt, he plays things you can't even believe with two fingers. And so there's these chords called Django chords, where you can play and you just deaden all the other strength. You deaden most of the strings and you can play them. So Django chords come in handy when you start to get a little arthritis going on. So you'll have to learn those, Gordon.
Well, yeah, it'll take me. I'm 64, so I'm right behind you. And it's like, I don't know if I want to take the time to try and be a virtuoso with the guitar. I just play around with it.
Hey, the older you get, you should keep trying to learn new stuff, because I always say if I live to be 130, I'm going to be really, really good.
Now you took the Mel Bay books, so that means you read music.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. See, I don't read music either. Paul McCartney. It's like
I'm mostly by ear.
Me too. Yeah.
But so I was working at Charter Communications, and I was involved with the Sheldon Theater, Friends of the Sheldon, and I was in charge of of running ads on cable channels, and I had access to a lot of avails, they call them, available ads that we could run. So I was running a bunch of ads to promote the Sheldon, and I was going to meetings down there. And so the guy that was the director there, he called me up and said, hey, we're doing a concert called Musicians with Real Jobs. Would you like to play? And
Musicians with Real Jobs.
And I hadn't played in public for a long time. I kept my chops up over the years. But I was like, hell yes, I want to play. Because when I moved here, I went to the Sheldon and I've seen, everybody from Ramsey Lewis Trio to one of my favorites, Stan Hicks and the Hot Licks. But I thought to myself, if I could ever play the Sheldon, it would be a dream come true. So I played this concert called Musicians with Real Jobs. And it was a lot of various executives, like people from media that had chops. And so I got to play like a 20-minute set by myself down there. And this guy that was running the Jazz at the Bistro, Gene Dobbs Bradford was his name. There's a blues harmonica player. His band played. He was the executive director of Jazz at the Bistro for a while, but his band played, and I was playing a Stevie Wonder song, and I said, "Hey, is that guy that played harmonica? Is he in the crowd?" In the crowd, and I said, "If you got a harmonica tuned to an E, come on up." And so he came up, and we did a Stevie Wonder song together.
That's fantastic.
And it was so I kind of, he said, "Hey, if you ever come down to Jazz at the Bistro, I'll give you free tickets." So I had an entree to Jazz at the Bistro, so that was kind of fun.
You just need to keep dreaming and manifesting, because Les Paul, you ended up at the Sheldon where you're doing. It's like things seem to come your way.
But then I played the Sheldon, and I got a call to ask if I would play a benefit for this group called Cornerstone. It's an early development center for kids. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do it. So I played a party, and then they asked, they had a silent auction. I said, hey, I'll donate myself playing for a party. And, people were, drinking a lot, and somebody paid $2,000 for me to play a solo gig at their party. And then I started playing out with a friend of mine, Dave Moon, and we started having a duo. There was a restaurant called Gerard's, so we played there. So now, and then I have a violin player. So I have a band called, we don't play here, but we're playing Saturday night out, and it's called Glaser and the Moon King. So it was Dave Moon and Jim King. So we all get equal billing at Glaser and the Moon King. So
and where's that at on Saturday night?
Schnook's Cafe in De Pere. Schnook's has live music.
Who knew? Did you know?
Well, let me tell you what. So I grew up in the 80s, and we played in bands, right? I was a long-haired guy in the 80s. But so my buddy.
So you had hair in the 80s.
Yeah.
I did. I did have hair in the 80s.
I had long hair too, and I still have a little bit left, but not much.
Yeah, I just went right down the middle and said, "That's it. I'm done." Shaved it all off. And I get all my buddies who's still playing bands, who's still trying to hold on to that last little round.
Let it go. Let it go. You're married. Who cares?
It's so funny you say that, because a buddy of mine, Perry Tebow, who played guitar with me in Nichols, he played Fresh Time. He'd be in there in Fresh Time playing guitar as people were shopping. It's great.
I always say we're a little too close to the produce section. Every once in a while.
That's where you pick up chicks, though. So.
But and then we play at a place called Sawmill Barbecue in De Pere. It's near Rosalita's. Yeah. We play Highway 61 Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one.
I'm playing at Four Hands Brewery over in Kirkwood. So I can get as many gigs as really, the gigs, if you want them, you can get them. So
that's fantastic.
That's just fun. It's fun for, I'm retired now, but
I was just going to ask you, retired or still working for the Charter? So, because I always think it's when you see people when they play and then when they go to work, or guys that ride Harleys and then go into their office, you have such a different look depending on where they're at.
And then I also play retirement homes.
I was gonna bring that up.
I do that during the day, and I just love doing it, because like you play a bar, and it's fun to play a bar, but people talk, and like when I play out here, and everybody's all my friends are there, and they're all having a great time, but they're all going blah blah blah. You're just talking.
Yeah, your background music.
I always say I could be up there completely naked. Nobody even looks. Nobody even cares. But when I play a retirement home, like I played one last Thursday, and there's 45 people, 50 people there, and they're all just looking. It's like a concert. It's like playing the Sheldon, where people. It's a listening room where people are listening.
Some are the same age, maybe.
Yeah, I know. It's getting to be like, Jesus.
Might as well just move in.
I tell my wife I have all the places scoped out. I know the good places, the bad places.
Where you want to go.
I play some Alzheimer's places too.
Really?
Where and then the people I play songs to fit. I know hundreds of songs. I have a good memory for music, and I play songs to fit their wheelhouse. And the music therapists tell me that the songs you'll remember from age 15 through 30, those are the ones you're not going to forget. And the musical memory is the last memory to go. So people are sitting there with their kids, and their kids come up to me afterward and go they say, my dad doesn't know my name, but he knew the words to some of your songs.
That's music.
And it's uncanny that they know these songs.
That crazy a role that the music.
What's one of your favorite that you could play?
Favorite songs that I play.
What are your favorites?
Well, for the old folks, I play.
And again, this is not his guitar. This is a makeshift that is in our studio.
Not the best guitar. So
Will this come through on the microphone too?
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, I wrote a song about climate change
I love it.
that when I retired, I'm pretty good at public speaking, so I thought I wanted to go out and get involved with climate change. So I flew to Minneapolis and got trained by Al Gore's group, and Al Gore was actually there, but I got trained to give presentations about.
Of course, Al Gore was there. He gets to meet everyone.
But I got trained to give talks about climate change, and but I wrote a song before that about climate change, and I hadn't played it for a while, but see if I remember the words. It's called No Denying. So I got kind of ticked off about people denying climate change.
And you're going to show them in this song.
Especially our new administration, which, the flood that happened in the Guadalupe River, it's climate change. You don't get 12 inches of rain in 2 hours out of nowhere. That never happened when we were growing up. Do you ever recall anything like that happening?
I don't think I paid attention when I was younger.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention like I do today. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this is called No Denying. This guitar's a little rough.
I told you.
It's getting hot in here, just like Nellie said. Climate change is happening. Get it through your big, thick head. Oceans rising, rain events. Hurricanes get more intense. The planet's trying. Stop denying right now. Do-do, do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do. Do. Last year was the hottest year we've ever had before. Just like the last 15 before that, it's impossible to ignore. Disappearing polar bear, wildfires burning everywhere. It's horrifying. Stop denying right now. Do. Do. Lakes dry up, trees die off, seawalls will fail. Lack of krill, they say, will kill every dolphin, every whale. Insect outbreaks, Greenland melts, sea levels change, ocean acidification, coral decalcification, ecosystems compromise. Ocean acidity, ice sheets melt, permafrost thaws, no plankton, no algae. All this becomes the new norm. You and me, we're getting warm. It's terrifying. Stop denying right now. Do-do, do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do. There's a little break here. So I wanted to make it sound like Nero playing the fiddle while Rome burns. That's why I have the do-do-do's. That's a fact, it's happening. The effects will be widespread. Climate change is happening. Get through your big thick head. It's not too late to change our act. First step, accept the fact the planet's fried. Stop denying right now. Do-do, do-do-do. I need some buy-in. Stop denying right now.
We need the applause sound.
Very good. Very
Happy
good.
way to let us know. Come on, let's take it a little more serious. Now, does your daughter? Did she?
Anybody else in the
play
family
music?
play?
My wife, I met my wife. She was my best friend's younger sister, like 4 years younger. And when she was in 7th grade, I gave her guitar lessons. I was in high school then. And I gave her actually an old Silvertone Sears guitar. And then, they moved to a different part of town. I didn't see her again really until she was like 22. And I was playing in a bar and she walked in. I was like, Julie Burke. So anyway, that's my wife. But yeah, she plays guitar a little bit. But I'm not a good teacher. So but Nikki plays guitar.
So do you ever play together? And
yeah, well, I played at the Fox Theater. She sold out the Fox Theater a couple of years ago. And she brings me on stage. And I played the Beacon Theater in New York with her, and I played in LA.
How do you keep from having tears? Like anytime, especially a father and a daughter, that's pretty emotional when you do something together. So I'm sure, was that difficult? Because that just brings so many emotions when you have that going.
She brings me on stage and she said, this is my dad's Make-A-Wish. And I said, yeah.
Make a wish.
And I said, yeah.
That's
I'm
great.
slowly dying inside from listening to her humor. It's like,
Oh my God, somebody has to be so hard
It's
to
a good-
do that, don't you?
Yeah.
and but we wrote during the pandemic.
Slowly.
During the pandemic, she was asked to do some gigs on the West Coast in outdoor venues while the pandemic was raging
Right.
in
Yeah.
like July of whenever that was, 2020.
Sure.
And so she asked me to go on the road with her, and we played like Monmouth Park Racetrack, and we played some old drive-in theater in Cape Cod. That these guys were really kind of entrepreneurial. They put up jumbo screens, screens on both sides, and they charged $65 per car and filled the whole place with the drive-in, and they did
Great
Wi-Fi,
experience to have
so everybody
together.
could listen. So I came out and opened, but Nikki wrote these words to Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga song from
Oh my
Star Is
God.
Born,
Oh yeah.
the one Shallow,
Yeah.
and it's about
But
her.
rewrote the words.
She rewrote words, and it's about her living at home with us during the pandemic. And it's all about like the walls are thin. She's here, my wife and I having sex.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
It's just
No one wants to know their parents
if I
have
could
sex.
remember the words to it, but it's very, very funny. It would bring the house down.
You mentioned she played saxophone, right?
Well, no, she just
When she was younger.
she was in fourth grade.
Guitar.
Oh,
She
sure.
ended
She
up
didn't,
doing.
because
But
my
during the
daughter played
pandemic-
sax too. Yeah.
She took guitar lessons in high school and then it never really took. But during the pandemic, she had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
We were out in LA with her when that week she was on Conan O'Brien. We're big Conan fans, so she flew us out to see Conan, and then she was on the David Spade show. And so to tell you, the pandemic was just starting to hit that week.
Mhm.
So like on Tuesday, I met Conan. I shook his hand, but on Friday with David Spade, we were elbow bumping.
Yeah.
Things had already changed that
Yeah.
quick.
Right.
And then Nikki she had just gotten a major apartment in New York City, her first really nice place. She finally had money to get something decent instead of
Mhm.
living in a hovel. And
Which takes a lot in New York.
No, good. And she just signed a year lease, and then the pandemic hit. And she said, I'm going to come back with St. Louis with you guys for a couple of weeks till it blows over.
How nice. Oh, that was in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So you got to spend a lot of
So
time
she was here
together.
for 7 months paying rent in New York at this exorbitant rent.
Oh,
She finally got out of it, and she finally subleased it to somebody. But
what a
then-
great time you had together, though.
But we had a great time. Yeah, we were doing. She did the Bill Maher show from my office on Zoom. She did Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. She flew out and they rented a house where she could be the guest host. And Julie and I were the interstitial. So when they went, the band plays out, So they would show us. Nikki was hosting in L.A. and from our house, and Julie and I were singing songs on the way in and out from the show. So we were like the band for the Jimmy Kimmel show.
That's hilarious.
We still got royalty checks until
Really?
yeah.
Oh my
But it
gosh.
was so funny because they set up they had people came up and set up a big Apple screen in our living room, and I just I came downstairs after getting ready for it, and we were getting ready to go on. My wife was still getting ready, and I see Guillermo on the screen, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, EJ, how you doing? And I'm like, Guillermo, you can see me? I was like, we're talking. He said, are you nervous? I said, yeah, a little bit. And he said, I always recommend get a shot of tequila before you go on. I said,
Tequila
"Good
helps
idea."
everything.
Yeah, it does.
Makes things happen.
So anyway, that was exciting. But
Oh, such a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so many fun. You never, until you sit down
When
with
it comes
someone,
to music and stories, I could
Yeah,
talk for hours.
I
Yeah.
literally have so much fun with these people that come on to hear their stories. I think one of the funniest was, though, the band member, the Lake of the Ozarks, of course, not here. He was not kicked out of the bar. He was literally kicked
Yeah.
out of the whole
It
Lake
was-
of the Ozarks van
It was-
from the story that he
Kicked
told.
out of bars. We got kicked out of the whole Lake of the Ozarks. Told us never come
the
back.
entire region.
But it is, it is fun hearing the stories, and it is wonderful to think of the time that even though COVID was such a difficult time, to have that cherished time to spend with your daughter.
Oh, it's
Because
amazing.
when they grow up, they go off and they do their thing, and you don't get to see them as much. But it put you back, even though I'm sure you're very close. It still put you extremely close, living
It's
together,
amazing. She always wants us to
to be
she-
there.
like when she hosted the Golden Globes, she made sure we were there. And when she did the Tom Brady roast, she made sure we were there again. She just, we're like, when she was on Howard Stern, and the day after the Golden Globes, I went to Howard Stern with her, and Howard was in New York, and we were in the LA studio. But Howard Stern says, why do you bring your parents to these things?
Aw,
And she said, my parents are fun. I like hanging out with them. So
that's amazing. Now, do you have other children, or is
Yeah,
it your only child?
my daughter, Lauren, she taught at Kirkwood Schools, taught Spanish for 13 years.
Oh,
So she
And,
lives here then.
She lives here. I have
Good.
3 grandkids here in town. They live in Tower Grove.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
now Lauren works. She decided teaching. She got tired of teaching. So now she sells plumbing supplies for Crescent Plumbing.
Well, that's very
And
different.
she loves it.
Oh, that's great.
She's they have a beautiful showroom down in U City. And so she sells like, kind of high-end plumbing supplies. And it's like, how did you make that transition? But she loves her new job so much. So I'm
And
really
how
happy for her.
great to be able to experience something else.
Yeah.
2
But-
girls for you.
Yeah.
But they're all grown up and they're doing well. So thank you so much for spending some time with us,
Hey, my
being
pleasure.
part of
It's
Soul
been fun.
Strings and
Thanks for asking me.
playing the go-to guitar that we
yeah.
have in the room that we're going to get.
It's never sounded so good.
It's not a bad guitar.
That has never sounded so good.
The action needs to be lowered to some new strings, Gordon.
We
You're
got it.
all set.
We got it. Thank you so much, EJ Glaser. Thank you for coming in, spending some time with us here. You're listening to the In Your City show right here on luinfo.com, the new Lou information station, not only at KLIS 590 AM, but of course at luinfo.com, on demand, Apple, Spotify, audio, any of your favorite podcast sites. You can pick up the show and all the other great shows that are here on the Lou information station. When we get back, we're going to talk about St. Louis Closet Company,
Yes,
our
we
friend
are.
Jennifer Williams. We're also going to meet Alyssa Houska from Streets of St. Charles. So we'll be back with more right here on the In Your City show. We are back with In Your City show right here at luinfo.com and KLIS 590. I've got to tell you about Jennifer Williams, St. Louis Closet Company. If you've not been out, go over to Big Ben, go to the St. Louis Closet Company, look at their gorgeous showroom. Can give you great ideas for your home, from anything from a Murphy bed to a mud room to a laundry room. You name it, they have it. But you may have a room that no one even knew about, like Nelly's.
Yeah.
There was a room for all of his, I think, production and things that they have for when they're, making videos and stuff, and completely did a specialty job for him. So it's not like it's a cookie cutter where they have, you get this or you get this or you get this. They designed what you need for your home. And Jennifer has been in business for over 30 years. She is there. I mean, when you come in, it's probably odd if you don't get to talk to Jennifer while you're there, but if she's not there, her team's incredible. They will take care of you. Her son, he's coming up the ropes right now, following her footsteps, and he's got the business down. But what's cool too, if you get something from St. Louis Closet Company, they're making it on site.
They're making it right there.
Yeah, it's not coming over from somewhere else that you're waiting for it to come over across the boat. It's being made right. You can go in and actually see it being designed right there. And what she always says is you go from chaos to calm. And it is true, when things are out of whack and things are all over the place and you can't find things, you don't know where things are, just trying to get dressed, finding something to wear in your closet. It was amazing getting our closets done, because there were things I didn't realize I had, because they were all stuffed and folded and, pushed back into things. And when you have that extra space like that, you can see everything you have.
It's like having a department store thing, section where you
Yeah.
can just like display all your
It's like
stuff.
walking into a
It's
boutique.
like, yeah.
And then I had to hang a chandelier because it felt
Yeah.
so cool. So if you want to go from chaos to calm, we highly recommend go with a local company, support local, somebody that's right here in St. Louis, has been here for over 30 years. That's the place that you want to go to be able to get something done, not one of these franchise cookie cutter type things. Get it done from someone local. Support local. She does a lot for the community as well. Always, oh my gosh, Closet for a Cause.
Yep.
I'm not looking at my notes because I feel like I know her so well, but
That's
I'm
one of the largest Toys for Tots things too.
yeah, oh my gosh, huge at Christmas. So Jennifer Williams, say hello, go in there and check out what they have to offer, and you will definitely feel better and your home will look better. So now we're going to meet our guest, second part of the hour here. If you haven't been to Streets of St. Charles, you've missed out. It doesn't feel like you're in St. Louis or St. Charles, especially when you go to Streets of St. Charles.
And if you're like me, a kid who grew up where Noah's Ark was all the time as a kid,
yeah,
you cannot even envision that ever being there anymore, because it's just so, it's just so elaborate and so cool now that it's like I forget that that's where Noah's Ark used to be.
And some of those animals are in Newtown.
In Newtown, yeah,
near
so it's
one of the
pretty cool.
kids' parks. So welcome to the show. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
Alyssa Houska, right? Did I say it right?
Houska.
You know, it's funny because I
How long
never.
have we been talking to her?
Well, okay, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. To save, do you ever sit there and go Kelly? I mean, you just say Kelly.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
I
You don't
never.
always think about people's last
If I
names.
call you on the phone, I don't say your last name. I
Right.
just say your first name. All I ever do is read your last name.
Right.
So it's not exactly
That's
like
fair.
you sit there and we'd say last names, right?
Right.
Okay, give me a break there. Thank you for coming in. Gosh, we've known you so long. You're now engaged.
Yes, I am.
Pretty soon you're gonna be having a baby.
Who knows?
So when's your wedding date?
April 9th.
Oh my
next year.
gosh.
Yeah.
It is gonna be here before you know it.
I know. I gotta.
We were
get
married on the
cracking.
14th.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll be close
Yeah.
to celebrating special days.
Nice.
So you're here from Streets of St. Charles,
Yes.
which is growing like crazy.
Yes.
I mean, something new all the time is going on there. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, it's 60,000 square feet.
Mhm.
This is what's been built out, and it just keeps growing down to where now you have on the outer limits, the pickleball, pickle and, you say it right.
Chicken and pickle.
Chicken and pickle.
Yeah.
I had to put the pickle, the
Yeah.
chicken before the pickle,
Yeah,
which is an
so
incredible
that's
location.
right on the other side of
Mm.
Main Street from our property and like very walkable with our property. So
I
that's
mean,
been a great addition.
Oh my gosh, everything's growing. So we've been to Naples. Prosino seems to be my go-to every time I have a meeting or lunch or dinner. We're constantly there. But tell a little bit about the work, eat, play, live.
Yeah, so it's a mixed use property. I think kind of one of a kind in the St. Louis area
Oh my gosh,
and
definitely.
very popular throughout the country. So yeah, we have entertainment, AMC, Funny Bone. We have
Look at the crowds. of the-
places to dine. Yes. We have 2 different apartment complexes, so you can live there. We have a couple different hotels, so you can stay there. We have some shopping. We have a salon. We have a facial place.
Which is incredible to think that all of that. I mean, we're looking at that street. He's showing that off. There's yoga. You have yoga that you can go to. I mean, it's this strip that you go down, and from the front to the back. I mean, like you said, you have the what is it? You have the Drury Inn on the one
Yep,
end,
Drury
and then on the other end is
is
the
True Hotel.
True Hotel.
Yes.
And then in between restaurants and boutiques, I love going to Mod. You've got the Picasso's Coffee.
Yes.
It's the white hair
Christina White.
Christina
salon?
White, the
Yes,
salon,
Yeah.
known
Just
for their
opened this
extensions.
year.
I was like, the
Yeah.
white hair, that's a boutique shop. At
Yeah.
Casitas. And then, so what are some of the new things I've noticed when I was just out there right next to Mod? There's a brand new, is it one of those where you can get the bowls?
Yeah, so Everbowl is opening right next to Mod. So the acai smoothie bowls where you have the base of the
Delicious.
smoothie and you get
Love
fruit
those.
and chia and nut butter and anything like that. And they're planning to open early August.
That's going to be hard for you to resist working there every day.
Yeah, like every day at 2:30, I'll probably convince myself that I need one of those.
We're so late to the game, not meaning St. Charles, meaning we were in Hawaii, was that 2 years ago
Yeah.
now? And went into a place in Hawaii and we're like, oh my gosh, this is delicious. It was almost like oatmeal and fruit and cream had a baby in a
The
bowl.
first time I had one of those is in Arizona. Matt brought me one back when I was in Arizona, remember? And he brought it back. He goes, "Hey, you ever tried one of these?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is
Like
amazing."
heaven in a bowl.
Yeah, to me, it's better than ice cream. I'm not a huge ice cream person. So like that to me
Not,
it is what I want.
oh, it's so
it's gonna be hard
good.
to resist.
Yeah. And then the only facial.
Yes.
So you've got a place in there, spa like to go to. You have there's a children's place in there, like a indoor playground
Yeah,
type.
Play Street Museum. Yeah, so it's not like a daycare type place, but if you walk in, it's really cute. There's like a hospital for the children to play in and a fire station, and they can even dress up in a fire suit, and there's games. You can have birthday parties there. So that's a really fun place as well.
And then the tacos down at the end. Funny Bone. We went
Yeah.
to a few of those.
gone
We
to a few,
really had a
yeah.
good time, and it's brand new in there.
Yeah.
So you go there and you have the comedy club. I mean, it's a lot of things in one area.
Yeah.
What is the I guess the premise, the meaning, the build out, the reason why this gorgeous facility was built in the middle of St. Charles. It's right there by the I-70 bridge.
Yeah, I mean, our owner, founder of our company, Diane Colin and Oberhelman, she just had a vision for the property. The construction kind of started in a time where a lot of people thought this will never work. It wasn't during the recession, but it was kind of close to it when we
Mhm.
first started building. So a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. There was other things slated for the Noah's Ark area, which was just not being utilized at the time and looking a little dilapidated.
Yeah.
And we wanted to step into this kind of mixed use area with our company. And so she just saw the need in St. Charles and she was right.
We know a
It-
couple. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's so cool to see too as you're coming across the bridge into St. Charles, and you just look to the left and just see this really cool
Yeah.
area.
Right on
It's
the
a
river.
great entrance to St. Charles
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a gorgeous building. We know a couple people that actually live there, and they
We
love
thought
it.
about it.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember
I
when we
think the
thought
only
about
thing
it.
that kept us from it was thinking about taking the dogs out at
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning down to where they needed to go out instead of
Because
just
they
letting them out the
do.
back door.
They do
I
wake
lived
up.
there for 2 years.
You
I
did.
did, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
And so and right there, I mean, well, gosh, for you just walk to work.
I sure did. Actually, it was just an elevator down.
That makes it even
And
easier.
I was right there.
That's what's so cool about it is
Yeah.
that you actually can live there, and then the restaurants, you kind of feel like city living,
Mhm.
but you're nowhere near the city
Right.
while you're there.
Right.
Now, so you have the concert series. You still have those?
Yes.
And those are the second Wednesday of the month?
Yes, the Beale Street concert series, second Wednesdays monthly, May through October, and they're from 6 to 8 on a Wednesday. So it's kind of like a happy hour, like a big happy hour with music. And most people just come enjoy some drinks, enjoy their friends,
Bring their chairs.
bring their chairs, watch the band. So this Wednesday, actually, July 9th, is our next one, and it is Yacht Rockers.
Oh, we're
Ed
they were-
Callison? Oh no, that's not Ed.
No.
Ed's Captain Ed. Yacht Rockers. I know who they are though. They're really good. Does he have a gray beard like the guy that sings?
And I'm trying to
The
think. I
Captain
cannot-
has-
But they
They're
play
good,
all
though.
they play all the stuff I love from the 70s.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really popular in the area. So yeah, we're excited. I haven't looked at the forecast. I don't look until the day before.
No way.
I've heard of rumblings. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't looked, so we'll see.
That would
So
make
how
you
many
nervous.
bands play throughout the summer? Or the summer? Do you
So
know?
there's 6 different concerts.
different
yeah,
concerts?
Six
Okay.
different bands. Yeah, so we have August, September, and October left after July.
And then are you still doing the sunrise yoga?
We are.
And when is
yeah.
that?
That is the second Saturdays monthly, May through September. And we do that with our tenant Yoga 6. They lead the practice. It's from 8 to 9 a.m. And our July practice is actually this coming Saturday. It's just very relaxing and quiet out on the street that early in the morning. And you can hop right into Picasso's afterwards and grab a coffee and breakfast. So
Now, do you still do the markets or out there where you have the artesian markets?
no, we don't do those
Okay.
anymore. Yeah, we tried that for a couple of years and it was just kind of hard to get off the ground. And it was monthly, and a monthly market was kind of hard where most are weekly.
When I think about myself, I'm like, I'm a hardcore Streets of St. Charles girl. I mean, I'm serious. I'm like looking at, I'm thinking, we go to the movie theater. We love the cookie. What's the cookie in a box or hot box?
Yeah, delicious.
Oh my gosh. And then you got the Nora Walls with the slushy cocktails, but we're Napoli's and Prasanos. I've been to this taco place a few times with my daughter.
Yes.
I mean,
Firebirds always smells good walking past that with the fire grill.
oh my gosh, it
going on.
smells. You have the breakfast place.
Yeah, first
Watch. I
right.
mean, there's really, you've hit everything you could possibly.
Yeah,
You ever go like to a hotel, which you have the jury, right?
right.
But you go to a hotel and it used to be like Howard Johnson's and there'd be the ice
Yeah.
cream place, or you go to a hotel and be like one restaurant, or you're next to a Waffle House. But at the Streets of St. Charles, you go to that hotel, it's like you got pickings everywhere. You can either get breakfast at 4 or 5 different places. I mean, it's just an amazing place to hang out.
Yeah, you don't have to drive anywhere.
No.
Everything you need. And we have another like a fast casual type restaurant opening as well. Crushed Red, which I think most people know
Love
in
Crush.
St. Louis.
I love it.
So they're opening their first location in the St. Charles area, and they're supposed to be opening early September. That one's right next to where the Only Facial is.
Okay.
So that's a really exciting. I think if we're thinking about anything that Streets of St. Charles is missing, which is nothing.
I was just
I was
thinking
gonna
that. It was-
say, what would it be?
It's
What about-
fast casual.
Do you have a salon?
We have
I
Christina
mean, that's right,
Whiteman.
Christine White. This is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Nail place?
We have
Yes.
Think Pink Nails.
I've been there
Yes.
too. I'm like, I don't think, besides the children's place,
Uh-huh.
though my daughter's been in there because she took Chance and he was all dressed up in an outfit taking pictures. Astronaut. That's what he was dressed up
Oh,
as.
cute.
But I'm trying to think if there is anywhere. We haven't stayed at the hotels, but we live down the street, so it
Makes
would
sense.
that
Me
would be
neither.
a little bit different there to do that. But we have really entertained everything in their Toscanos,
Yeah.
where you put they keep bringing the
Still
beverages.
Every restaurant should have that. Every restaurant should have
Love
the yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come to me or don't come to me.
Yeah, that's
You're right in the middle of conversation. They want to stop and talk to you. It's like it would be so perfect to have one of those, wouldn't it?
sometimes though it's hard for me to turn it and say no.
Oh,
No, it is that restaurant. You'll get full really
Oh
fast.
my
You got the
gosh, yes.
burger. Oh my gosh, we've
Yeah.
also been to the pizza place,
Dewey's.
Dewey's.
hot
Can't
dog
tell you how many times
cookies,
you've been
you
there.
got
We just
cookies
said
there?
that one. Yeah. I'm literally trying
Yeah,
to think if
Jane.
there's
I'm sure you
been
know.
there. I'm literally trying to think of something I haven't been to in there right now.
Miniature golf and a
I've
bowling
even
alley. I
been
think
to
that's the only thing you're
dentist
missing.
there.
A
Have you?
dentist? There's a
Seriously.
dentist there?
There
Yes.
is. Yeah, it's right next to Dewey's.
I'm serious. It's absolutely crazy. I'm literally
Massage.
trying to
You
find.
got Lux massage, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I
massage
have not
salons.
had a massage there.
Milan Laser too. We have that's right
I've
next
not
to
been lasered there. There's
Loaded.
two. Where's Mo? I didn't know that was there.
Yeah, so it's like Narwhal's in that building.
Oh, I
and
have
then
did see it.
Loaded and then
Yeah.
Milan.
Love Buff City,
Yes.
the
Love
soap
Dewey's.
place.
Yeah.
We've got two, and we're talking about a lot of places
Yes.
that I've actually missed out on.
Well, now you have the couple places you have to go to.
Now I have some new ones that I'll get to go to. So
Yep.
yep. And he's poking me right
Well,
now. And he's
like-
telling me we're gonna get taken right off there, aren't we? That's
Yeah.
what you're saying. So Streets of St. Charles, you gotta check it out. If you haven't been there, you're missing out. They have everything. There's something for everyone there, every age, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Alyssa
Thank you
Houska,
guys
for
having
coming
me.
in and being on the show with us. We appreciate all that you do. All right, we are going to take it out of here. And we will look forward to being back with you tomorrow right here on the In Your City Show on luinfo.com, the KLIS 590 AM. We'll be back to entertain you with more stuff
More stuff.
and nonsense.
Cheers.